Hey guys, I'm Brian, and in this video I'm going to talk about the musical difference between Colombian and Equatorial Guinea and how this has an influences on the history of each country. To begin with, we must say that music is a fundamental part of a culture, but that doesn't mean that it has to be strictly present in a country. I mean in a political, geographic way. I say this because, for example, Equatorial Guinea is located in West of Africa, and music in Africa, unlike most countries, goes beyond the political boundaries that divide each nation in Africa, because at the Berlin Conference in 1913, Europe divided Africa territory as they want, separating ethnic groups, families, and this over time evolved to represent a culture but not a country as such. This means that this country doesn't have its own musical identity. Music is heard from other parts of the world, but there are a lot of ethnic groups that have their own musical culture but don't represent any Africa country. We will see later. On the other hand, we have Colombia, where the opposite happens, because it's a country with enormous cultural wealth. Its diversity depends on the geographic position of the country. We have Atlantic lowlands, the Pacific coastal region, Andean region, the Llanos, and finally the Amazonian rainforest. And in each one, there are different types of culture and with enormous musical wealth. Additional to that, Colombian history has gone through very hard times, but it is also giving way to his own musical genres that fill us with nostalgia for our land, songs influenced by multiple events in our history. We have the example of José A. Morales. He was one of the most representative Colombian composers and who had a difficult past, and where the history of Colombia can be told throughout his lyrics and music. War, violence, forced displacement, all these elements are certainly part of the history of Colombia, and many Colombians feel identified with them. That is why the importance of the music in the history of the country. But in Equatorial Guinea, this doesn't happen because, in the first place, I already said before, the ethnic groups that exist are throughout Western Africa and not only in Equatorial Guinea. Therefore, the music of Equatorial Guinea has no political role either in his history or as a part of his culture. But if they are ethnic groups in Western Africa, even in the territory of the Equatorial Guinea, where music is only instrumental, that is, the only use instrumented as music creation and not singing. That is so important and representative for these ethnic groups in Western Africa. The ethnic groups that live on the West Africa territory are Fernandinos, Bubis, Igbos, Umbacas. These ethnic groups have a representative instrument called the mbet. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but that represents dance and mime, typical of West African ethnic groups. But despite of enormous cultural difference that are more than 8,000 kilometers away, there are elements such as language that makes us feel identified with this country. Spanish in Equatorial Guinea and Colombia is the official language. Through these traits, we can learn more about this culture, which is the goal of the multicultural context. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.